He won't remember every curve, every move, or even every word you said, but he'll never forget how you made him feel in that moment. If you've ever wondered what truly leaves a mark on a man after sex, it's not what most people think. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. It's not about fantasy, it's about connection. And today we're diving deep into what makes a woman unforgettable in the moments that matter most. When a man walks away from a sexual experience thinking about it days, weeks, even years later, it's rarely because of what physically happened, it's how he felt. Physical attraction might bring two people together, but what makes a moment unforgettable is the emotional connection. For a man, the way he feels emotionally during sex carries far more weight than how long it lasted, how wild it got, or how technically perfect it was. There's a different kind of imprint left on his mind when he feels emotionally connected to the woman he's with. In that space, vulnerability becomes possible. He's no longer performing. He's not just chasing pleasure. He's opening up, and the woman who creates that space becomes unforgettable, not because of her body, but because of how she made him feel about himself. When a man feels truly accepted in that moment, not judged, not evaluated, but embraced, something changes. We often think men are supposed to be the confident ones, the strong ones, the initiators, but even the most confident man carries hidden insecurities. He questions whether he's enough, whether he's doing it right, whether he's really connecting with you or just going through the motions. And when he finds a woman who sees him not just as a body, but as a human being, he can let that guard down. That emotional safety becomes rare, precious, and impossible to forget. It's not just about being kind or saying the right words. It's about showing him that he doesn't have to be anything other than who he is in that moment. This kind of connection doesn't happen with everyone. It happens when the woman in front of him is emotionally present, when she looks him in the eye and doesn't look away, when she's engaged, not distracted, when she laughs and breathes and moves in sync with him. It sends a message: I'm here with you, not just for you. That difference is subtle, but it's powerful. It shifts the experience from something physical to something deeply human. And it's that human connection that men secretly crave, even if they don't talk about it. There's a unique power in emotional vulnerability, especially for men who don't often get permission to show it. And when sex becomes a space where that vulnerability is not only accepted but welcomed, it creates a memory that lives far beyond the bedroom. Emotional intimacy is the difference between an encounter that fades and one that lingers. When a man feels emotionally seen during sex, truly seen, not just touched, it becomes more than a moment. It becomes a bond, even if just for that night, and long after the moment passes. What remains in his mind is not the act itself, but how he felt safe, desired, connected, and completely understood. Confidence is one of the most magnetic qualities a woman can bring into a sexual experience. It's not about looking perfect or having a flawless body. It's about how she carries herself, how she expresses her desire, how she embraces the moment without hesitation or apology. A confident woman doesn't wait for permission to enjoy herself. She doesn't shrink or hide under the weight of insecurity. Instead, she leans into the experience with presence, self-assurance, and a sense of ease that invites the man to let go of his own fears too. That kind of energy changes the entire atmosphere. It tells him, I know who I am, I'm comfortable in my skin, and I'm not afraid of being seen. And that, more than anything, makes her unforgettable. When a woman is confident in bed, it gives the man a permission slip to stop performing. She leads with her energy, not her body. She touches with intention. She moves with certainty. She makes eye contact without flinching. She allows herself to make sound, to guide, to participate fully, And that makes a man feel like he's not alone in the experience. He doesn't feel like he's the one doing everything or trying to impress her. He feels like they're in it together. And that's a dynamic shift, because most men have been in situations where they felt like they were the only ones showing up, giving, initiating, leading. But when a confident woman steps in, she becomes an equal partner in the dance. And the memory of that balanced connection stays with him. A woman who owns her confidence isn't afraid to express what she wants. She's not shy about taking control sometimes, not because she's trying to dominate, but because she's attuned to what turns her on and isn't afraid to go after it. That kind of initiative is rare, and it makes a man feel desired in a way that penetrates deeper than just being wanted physically. It tells him she's not just there to please him, she's there because she wanted to. That changes the emotional temperature of the whole encounter. It moves it from performance to passion, from pressure to playfulness. Confidence also creates comfort. When a woman is clearly comfortable in her own body, it helps him feel less self-conscious in his. Her acceptance of herself lowers the pressure in the room. She doesn't second-guess every movement or worry about how she looks in a certain light. She's too busy enjoying the experience to worry about how she's being perceived. And that kind of freedom becomes contagious. It invites him to stop thinking and start feeling, to stop worrying about doing it right and just be present. That presence leads to connection, and that connection leads to the kind of intimacy he won't forget. Not because she performed a fantasy, but because she brought her real self, the bold, unfiltered, confident version. And that's what makes a moment stick in his memory. Men are often expected to be the ones who initiate, who pursue, who express their desire first. But what many don't realize is that men deeply crave to feel desired too. It's not just a physical hunger, it's emotional validation. When a woman shows genuine, raw desire for a man, it reaches a part of him that's usually hidden behind pride, strength, or detachment. It tells him that he's not just accepted, he's wanted, not for what he can do or provide, but for who he is. That kind of desire makes a man feel powerful, special, and deeply connected. It cuts through the surface and touches the ego in a way that sticks, even if the world outside never validates him in the same way. When a woman reaches out, initiates touch, or looks at him with eyes that say, "I want you right now," it ignites something inside him. It's not just about the act, it's about what that act represents. It means he's seen. It means she's not just present out of obligation or passivity, she's invested. She's choosing him. That kind of energy is incredibly potent. It gives the experience depth because the man doesn't feel like he's earning her interest, he feels like he already has it. And when a man feels truly wanted, his guard falls. He becomes more generous, more attentive, more emotionally involved. Because now it's not just about satisfying a need, it's about sharing something with someone who really wants to be there. There's also something intensely attractive about a woman who doesn't hide her desire. When she makes it clear through her words, her body language, or her actions that she wants him, it becomes more than just sex. It becomes a statement. It says, "I choose you, I crave you, and I'm not afraid to show it." That kind of bold vulnerability is unforgettable. It's not about playing games, holding back, or creating artificial mystery. It's about giving in to the moment without shame. And when that happens, it creates a sense of freedom that most men rarely experience. They no longer have to guess if they're enough, if they're doing it right, or if she's truly enjoying herself. Her desire answers all those questions in an instant. The truth is, a man can be with someone who looks perfect, performs perfectly, and still walk away feeling empty if he didn't feel wanted. But he can also be with someone who shows real unfiltered hunger for him and remember it as one of the most powerful experiences of his life. Because in that moment, it's not about technique or fantasy, it's about connection. It's about feeling chosen, feeling like her desire was real, not a favor, not a performance. That kind of authenticity breaks through all the noise and lands deep in his memory. And it makes him crave more, not just of the physical experience, but of the woman who gave him that feeling. Presence is everything. A man can feel it when a woman is there in body but not in mind. He can tell when she's going through the motions, when her thoughts are somewhere else, when she's disconnected from the experience. And while physical attraction might get things started, it's the emotional and mental presence of a woman that makes the moment unforgettable. Being truly present means showing up with more than just your body. It means your energy is there, your attention is there, your emotions are open, and your guard is down. That kind of engagement changes the atmosphere. It becomes less about technique and more about connection. It becomes something that touches both people on a deeper level. When a woman is fully in the moment, a man feels it. Her breathing syncs with his. Her responses aren't rehearsed, they're real. She's not concerned about how she looks, whether she's doing it right or what will happen afterward. She's there, she's tuned into what she's feeling and what he's feeling. And that kind of emotional availability creates a different kind of intimacy. It makes him feel like he matters, not just as a participant, but as a person. In those moments, there's no performance. There's no mask. There's just presence. That's rare, and it's that rarity that makes it stick in his mind long after it's over. A woman doesn't need to say much to be fully present. It's in the way she touches him, not mechanically, but with intention. It's in her eyes. Not distracted, but focused and soft. It's in the way she listens with her body, how she moves with him instead of just letting things happen to her. A woman who brings her whole self into the moment sends a clear message. She's not just allowing this experience, she's choosing it. And that level of intention is unforgettable for a man. It makes him feel worthy of her attention, of her time, of her vulnerability. Many men are used to being in situations where they have to carry the emotional weight of the moment. They lead, they initiate, they try to create the spark. But when a woman shows up fully present, she meets him halfway. She becomes his equal in the experience. She doesn't just respond, she participates. That shared energy makes the moment alive. It's no longer about one person giving and one receiving. It's about two people co-creating something real, and that memory gets stored differently in a man's heart. There's something disarming about a woman who is unapologetically in the now. No past regrets, no future worries, just present, connected, and open. It's grounding. It makes a man slow down. It makes him take a mental snapshot of the moment because it feels like something more than physical. It feels like something sacred. And that feeling, that emotional imprint of being with someone who was truly there, is what makes the memory last. There's something quietly powerful about what happens after sex. It's the part most people don't talk about. But it's often the part that sticks in a man's memory the longest. The way a woman responds in those tender moments right after the intensity fades says everything. It speaks to how safe he feels, how connected he feels, and whether the experience was just physical or something more. It's easy to think that once the act is over, the impact ends. But for a man, that's often when the emotional memory begins. The softness of her touch, the way she looks at him, whether she rolls away or leans in closer. Those details don't seem big in the moment, but they're the ones that echo in his mind later. When a woman takes a moment to connect after sex, Whether it's by resting her head on his chest, running her fingers gently down his arm, or just lying there in comfortable silence, it reassures him. It tells him that he wasn't just used for release, that what just happened meant something, that she values not just the climax but the closeness. Men are rarely given permission to be vulnerable, even in intimacy. Often, they're expected to switch off, move on, act unaffected. But when a woman creates emotional space afterward, it gives him a kind of safety he doesn't find anywhere else. It tells him, in the simplest and most powerful way, that he matters. Even small actions make a big impact. A soft kiss on the shoulder, a quiet, "that felt really good," or just pulling him closer. It's not about being dramatic, it's about being real. That kind of authenticity cuts through everything. It shows that she's not in a rush to leave the moment, she's content. She's still there with him. That presence extends the emotional intimacy far beyond the physical act. It becomes less about what they did and more about how they felt in each other's arms afterward. This is where connection deepens, because it's not about passion anymore, it's about peace. When a man feels emotionally grounded after sex, it alters the way he sees her. He starts to associate her not just with pleasure, but with comfort, with calm, with warmth. That's a powerful association. It makes her unforgettable, not because she did anything wild or extravagant, but because she made him feel human, fully human. And those feelings are rare. They don't happen with everyone, which is why they stand out so vividly when they do. There's also a moment of emotional openness that happens after sex, when the walls are down and both people are at their most real. That's when a shared glance means more than words. That's when holding hands means everything. If a woman can meet a man in that emotional space, if she can stay instead of pulling away, she leaves a lasting impression. Because he knows deep down that this wasn't just about release, it was about connection. And she was part of that connection in a way that didn't end when the physical part did. The truth is, what happens after sex writes the final chapter of that intimate experience. It's what lingers in his chest when he thinks back on it. If she stays close, if she shows warmth, if she makes space for the moment to breathe, she becomes part of an emotional story, not just a physical one. And that's the kind of story that stays with a man, not because she tried to be unforgettable, but because she simply was. There's something deeply unforgettable about a woman who is unapologetically herself in an intimate moment. Not polished, not perfect, not filtered, but real. In a world where so many people are performing, trying to impress, trying to be what they think someone else wants, the woman who shows up as herself stands out. She brings something no one else can, her own unique energy. That energy isn't about having the right moves or the perfect body. It's about the freedom she gives herself to feel, to express, to play, to laugh, to be vulnerable. That kind of authenticity is magnetic because it invites a man to drop his own mask too. And when two people are raw and real with each other, the connection that forms in that space becomes something unforgettable. When a woman allows her true personality to shine through during sex, it creates a dynamic that's far more intimate than anything physical alone. Whether she's playful, intense, shy, or bold, when it's real, it resonates. It's not a show. It's not about being a fantasy. It's about bringing her full self to the experience and letting that be enough. That courage to be seen exactly as she is, in her own rhythm, in her own way, is what makes her so memorable. It's in the way she might giggle at something unexpected, the way she teases in the middle of a kiss, the way she closes her eyes and gets lost in the moment. All of that is her essence. It's what makes her different from anyone else he's ever been with. Most men aren't just looking for perfection, they're looking for realness. They might not even know it, but they feel it when it happens. They feel it when a woman isn't trying to be what she thinks she's supposed to be, but instead just lets herself be. That kind of ease is rare. It shows confidence, not in the loud way, but in the quiet way. The kind that says, I'm enough, just as I am. And that's powerful, because it creates a space where the man doesn't feel like he's being tested or judged or compared. He feels like he's experiencing something honest, something that can't be repeated with someone else, because no one else brings what she brings. Being unapologetically yourself also means being emotionally honest. If something feels good, you show it. If something's funny, you laugh. If something doesn't feel right, you say it without shame. That level of honesty is rare and refreshing. It takes bravery to be that open, especially in a space as vulnerable as sex. But it also deepens the bond. It turns the experience into something alive, something spontaneous. There's no script. There's just two people creating a moment together that couldn't exist with anyone else. That uniqueness is what leaves a lasting impression on a man. What makes a woman unforgettable isn't just what she does, but how she makes him feel. And when she's being herself, fully and freely, she gives him permission to do the same. That's where the real magic happens. In that space of mutual openness, walls come down, expectations fall away. Two people meet, not as ideas or roles, but as human beings. And that level of realness hits differently. It's not something you can fake. It's not something you can force. It's something that flows naturally when a woman trusts that who she is, without apology or performance, is more than enough. And that's exactly what makes her unforgettable in the deepest way. What makes sex truly unforgettable for a man isn't the technique, the intensity, or even the physical connection. It's the emotional imprint it leaves on him. It's the feeling of being seen, chosen, desired, and deeply connected. A man may forget what was said or how long it lasted, but he will never forget how a woman made him feel in that moment. When she shows up with confidence, with presence, with real desire, when she's fully herself without holding back, she creates an experience that becomes more than just sex. It becomes a memory, a moment of truth, a space where he didn't have to perform, didn't have to pretend, didn't have to guess, because everything about her energy told him he was enough. That's the kind of intimacy that doesn't just satisfy, it lingers. And long after the moment is gone, what remains is her, the way she moved, the way she looked at him, the way she made the moment feel like it mattered. That's what makes her unforgettable.